I was just one win away from Mythic, but this game was actually from last week. I only got around to making a video about it now. In this match, all 5 of our heroes dealt magic damage. Literally everyone, even our roamer, Angela. What happened was, we had first pick, and I showed Granger, but my own teammate banned him. Then my teammates first picked Luo Yi, and the opponents also got Juxin. Crazy. How would you guys feel if you had teammates like this? The enemy team's lineup was really solid, while ours was a complete mess. I had no idea what to pick at that point, and I accidentally clicked Kimmy. If we're just talking about lineup strength, we were completely outmatched. The enemy team had a huge advantage. I know this happens to you guys too. Sometimes your team is all physical damage, and other times all magic damage. But if I had to choose, I'd rather have an all-magic lineup than an all-physical one. Don't get too confident when facing a team like this. Why? Because there are only a few effective items to counter magic damage, mainly Athena's shield and radiant armor. But since radiant armor was nerfed a long time ago, it indirectly buffed all magic damage heroes. And there are plenty of magic items that can counter enemy defense items, like Divine Glaive, and even those with true damage like Wishing Lantern and Glowing Wand. When it comes to physical damage, yes, there are also a lot of strong physical items. But the problem is, there are just as many solid physical defense items like Dominance Ice, Blade Armor, and Antique Cuirass. Even Immortality and Twilight Armor have physical defense as their base stats. And I'm not sure if you guys know this, but all heroes actually have lower base and growth magic defense compared to their physical defense. Aside from that, some heroes gain a huge boost in physical defense when they meet certain conditions, but not magic defense. Take a Totkaka, for example. His physical defense increases as his HP gets lower. You can really see how outmatched we were in terms of lineup. The enemy team's lineup looked like it was built for a tournament. But since this is just a solo rank game, it's still fine. We still have a chance, and they can't afford to be overconfident. Kimmy is a bit difficult to use right now, and she feels weak. She's not like a typical marksman with auto-aim basic attacks. Did any of you play during the time when Kimmy's basic attacks dealt physical damage? Back then, farming was so easy. She could just pass by creeps while attacking and they'd go down in no time. And when it came to pushing turrets, no one could match her speed. She was the only hero where using a jungle emblem actually made sense. Back then, you didn't even need Retribution to be a jungler, and anyone could build jungle items, even if they weren't playing as a jungler. Comment below if you experienced that era. I feel like most of my viewers are newer players who might not knew it. And share what made you start playing ML as well. I just want to hear about your experiences. Comment down below and I'll be reading them. I'm not sure if it was just my ultimate that hit, or if it connected at the same time as Guinevere's first skill. What do you think? It's really hard to hit high mobility heroes. I should have been at a huge disadvantage against Irithel. But on the bright side, Kimmy is good against low mobility heroes. Then again, there are still better hero options than Kimmy in that case. I just hope she gets a buff in the upcoming update. Look, she barely deals any damage, and her energy runs out so fast. But once she gets her items, that's when you start feeling her damage. At the same time, she's really easy to kill, especially against assassin heroes. By the way, I just want to clarify this for those with zero comprehension who only know how to hate. You might think I'm saying that an all-magic damage lineup is good. No, that's not what I mean. What I'm saying is that if we compare an all-magic damage lineup to an all-physical damage lineup, the magic lineup is slightly better. Because let's be real, this situation happens to you too sometimes. Of course, it still depends on the enemy team. Also, I forgot to mention earlier, there's an item called Wind of Nature, which grants immunity to physical damage for 2 seconds. But against magic damage, there's no such thing, right? So it's funny when your team's marksman builds Wind of Nature, even though the enemy team is full of magic damage. Here, Garot Kacha thought he could kill me, but he didn't realize I could instantly recall back to base.
Wow, I'm a genius!
It's really hard to chase Kimmy if your hero has low mobility, because she can keep shooting while running. But when Kimmy is the one chasing, she also struggles since her basic attack range is shorter when moving forward compared to when she's moving away. Oh, I think I saw a video about Kimmy's revamp. It's already in the advanced server. Turns out it's not just a simple buff. But have you noticed? When it comes to weak heroes, Moonton rarely gives them an adjustment that feels like a real buff. I mean, they'll buff one skill but then nerf something else. Like, if a hero is already weak, why do they have to add a nerf too? Can't they just buff them properly for once? Right? Here, you can see why choosing the right battle spell is so important. For example, if the enemy team has a lot of crowd control, you should use Purify, especially if you're playing a marksman. Some players still force Flicker or other spells, but no matter how good you are, you'll still get caught eventually. We were able to secure Lord here, and my damage was really starting to hurt. Lightning Truncheon also works well on her because of her ultimate. Even with her first skill, her movement speed increases every time it activates. Here I thought Gatotkacha had already recalled, then out of nowhere he suddenly jumped on us. That caught me off guard. It's a shame that our jungler refused to give me a buff here. Even just the purple buff would have been enough. But nope, the only time I can get a buff is when our jungler is dead. This is the struggle with random teammates. No matter how well you're playing or how much you actually need the buff, they still won't give it to you. Junglers these days are just too selfish. So we ended up winning. And if you look at the enemy's build, they actually knew what they were doing since they stacked magic defense. A lot of players still don't know how to adjust their build based on the enemy lineup. But these guys did. Here's another game where our team was full of magic damage again. The enemies were really strong since they were mythical immortal rank. Meanwhile, I looked like a troll. This game was tough because the enemy lineup was full of tanky heroes. Even their jungler was durable. So imagine if they built full magic defense, right? But honestly, even in that case, it wouldn't be that much of an advantage because of Divine Glaive and heroes or items that deal true damage. Anyway, who here bought this Julian skin? It doesn't really look that different from his normal skin, right? The only real change is the color effects. Also, doesn't the flash effect when using his enhanced skills bother you? Personally, it's too bright, and I sometimes get blinded by it. I can't even see what's happening around me. See? Even if the enemy team is full of magic damage, you'd still need to build Dominance Ice for the attack speed and lifesteal reduction, despite its base stats being physical defense. That just shows how unbalanced the items are. This is also why I said magic damage has more advantages over physical damage. Even when it comes to pushing capabilities, there are now several magic-based heroes who excel at it, like Julian and Herod. So yeah, we still won this game despite having an all-magic damage lineup and going up against skilled opponents. Also, I'm getting really close to Mythical Immortal on this account. I haven't been able to grind much in Ranked because I've been struggling with editing and coming up with what to say in my videos.